helped establish in her college. She has published many number of research papers in revered and reputed journals. Ma'am, thank you so much for being here amidst your schedule, and we are really, looking at your area of research in your PhD degree, namely the electronic commerce, which is just booming now, but you have thought of earlier itself and you have done a research on it. Thank you so much, ma'am. And we would like to hear from you on the nuances of publishing reputed journal papers. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Deepa, for that nice introduction. Let me show the presentation to you. I'm going to stop my video and share the screen with you. Yes, are you able to see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So today's topic that I have taken up is nuances in publishing research papers. By nuances, I need the fine points that we have to bear in mind. Tamil solanumna nunukkangal sollalam. So we're going to look at the possible nuances that we will have to bear in mind. But before that, there is one point that I would like to discuss with you. Today, the quality of a teacher is determined, apart from the way she teaches, it is determined by the number of research papers that she publishes in good journals, and the research projects that she has received from government and non-government sources, different awards that she has won, and memberships that she carries in prominent forums. These are all the things that determine the quality of a teacher. So which means teaching alone cannot be our forte. So we will have to enhance our qualifications and qualities to such an extent that we encompass all these also. But I think all of you will agree that we all as academicians do have these questions. Should I teach or should I conduct research? Am I here for teaching or am I here to conduct research? And is there any way, okay, I conduct research. Is there any way through which I can integrate this with my teaching? And if at all we do research, is it used anywhere? And is there anything that I am meaningfully contributing? Well, to these answers, I think we will all agree that it is only through research that new horizons open up. And as teachers, it is very important that we explore those new areas. So research should become a integral part of our teaching. And if you ask, are we able to integrate teaching and research? Well, yes, in autonomous institutions like ours, for example, my own area, electronic commerce, we've been able to introduce a new paper in electronic commerce, and that has given me immense satisfaction. Whatever we are able to, whatever research we have done, we've been able to bring that into a paper as well. And to the last two questions, it is up to us to consciously ensure that we publish research papers in socially relevant topics and ones that create value. So the conclusion of these two slides is that, yes, all of us will have to take up research as part and parcel of our careers. That's a very important thing. Now let's move on to the publishing part of it. See, today's topic, I'm simply going to cover and tell you all how a good research journal can be chosen, how to choose a journal for publishing. I am not going into that part where we are going to speak about how to publish. That is not what I'm going to deal with. I'm going to tell you how are we to choose a good research journal and what are the things that has to be done in choosing. Those are the things that I'm going to cover today. So the very first these are the 5 points I'm going to cover today for you all. We are going to talk about predatory journals. We are going to talk about approved journals, which is the UGC CARE list and how to access journals in it. We are going to understand what impact factors are, what citation is, and how to create and why is a research ID required. These are the things that we are going to cover today in today's presentation. So I move to the first point, predatory journals. Does anybody have an idea of what a predatory journal is? It so happens that all of us would have experienced this. We want immediate publication. When we complete our research work, we would like to get the article. My article is ready. I want this to be published immediately. How long will it take for publication? Is the first question that we ask always. And we find that there are so many unsolicited mails and messages that we receive, whereby they say that publication will be done in 1 day, publication will be done in 1 week, publication will be done in 10 days. So those kind of, I think there is some disturbance, Deepa. Can I proceed?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, so such kind of claims are being made about publications. So these predatory journals, if you see, are ones that actively seek research papers, and there is nobody to peer review. What do I mean by peer review? Somebody has to read a paper, go through the contents of the paper, and they must be able to tell us the pros and cons of the respective paper. We must be able to review it repeatedly, make all the changes, and then only a good paper comes up. It is only through review by people in that area that we get to know what a quality paper is. Only then we can publish a quality paper. And apart from that, these journals have, these predatory journals have very, very misleading titles. For example, the Indian Journal of Geoscience is right, whereas the Indian Journal of Geology is wrong. Very similar. Now, to help you understand this more, I would like to take you through. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to take you to the internet tab where I can actually show you how many predatory journals are there. Are you able to see it?
We could see that. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going to the UGC care list. I am going to the UGC care list. Here, it is there here. I've already signed in. You can create your own. See, there is a list of cloned journals here. Now let me go and show it to you what they actually do. See, here it is ABRU, A-A-B-R-U. Here they add the word journal to it. The next one, you can see the example given, Adhigam. After Adhigam, they've added International Journal of Hindi Research. Otherwise, I want you to check, it is the very same. See, language alone is Hindi and they've added Marathi. ISSN number is the same. And here there is no URL for the original publication. There they have gone to the extent of creating that URL itself. You see, those are the, such kind of things are happening today. Alochana Chakra. No, this is a page. This is something that was accepting papers very recently, till recently. Alochana Chakra is the right journal. It's a Bengali journal, but they have, the spurious version is Alochana Chakra journal, Hindi and English, and no publisher is stated. Look at the ISSN number; it is the same, and they have created a URL for it also. Is that clear? So this is where we get duped. I would again love to go back to the presentation. Let me go back to the presentation. So this kind of misleading titles are there, and the UGC care list carries a list of journals that are spurious, that are predatory in nature. And not only that, these journals are they publish very frequently and charge very high fees. If you pay 5,000, they will immediately publish. As faculty members, it is our responsibility to think. It is we who put in all the hard effort, and our work is being given to somebody, and it should be taken free. Rather, we do not mind paying amounts for it. So that is something that we will have to contemplate. So these are the features of a predatory journal. Now, before now, even before the UGC came up with a care list, the Bales list was always a guiding factor. We in the college have always looked up at the Bales list. And the Bales list always had Mr. Bale, Dr. Bale is a librarian, and he had put out a list of journals that are spurious. So that was very useful. In many instances, it was found that there was no website at all, and there was no a body of academicians were not there behind. It was running like a business, because every paper 5,000, 10,000 they charge. And what is it? Where is it getting published? It's a very important question that we must ask. So Bale's list was helping us with that. So with this background, I would like to tell you that we will have to learn to evaluate and choose a journal. Now, I have put out a journal evaluation rubric for you. Can you see that? Can you see that? This is a journal evaluation rubric, and we will have to ask these questions. Is the journal, what is the name? Who is on the editorial board? In many instances, you will find that the editorial board itself is non-existent. Is there a review process? Sometimes we have two reviews. One, you will know who is reviewing it. In some, we have the blind review process. And is there any conflict of interest? Do they understand about the policy? Have they given a conflict of interest policy? Has to be looked at. And do they have a website, a legal website where all examples or everything else is given? Should be looked at. And what is the revenue source? Are they attached to any college? Is the journal coming from any college? Or are they running it as a standalone business? We will have to look at it. And archives, we should look. What sort of publications are being made by this journal? Who is publishing it? What is the fees that they are charging? How frequently do they bring out a journal? If money is the only factor, then every week they may be able to bring out a volume. Every 15 days, once in 15 days, they may be able to bring out a volume. So what is the schedule? What publishing schedule do these people have? We should look at. And we must be able to look at what is the copyright information that they are getting from us, and where is it indexed. Now, these questions, and how many articles are published, these questions we will have to ask. So this is a rubric, and we will have to evaluate, give points for all this and evaluate. Unless and until we get good scores on these fronts, we must never choose a journal. Okay. So the first point we have made clear. So we should understand what a predatory journal is. Now let's move on to the next one. Having understood what a predatory journal is, let's move on to what approved journals are. Very recently in 2018, the University Grants Commission has come up with a list called the CARE list, created by the Consortium for Academic and Research Ethics. I would now like to go to the UGC CARE list and take you through the features that are there in the list. Let's go to the home page. Faculty members, I would like to tell you that you can create a login for the UGC CARE list. For the UGC CARE list, a separate login can be created by individuals respectively. If you have a institutional ID, it will be better. With that ID, you can create an institutional login, and with that you can access the UGC CARE list. Now, as far as the UGC CARE list is concerned, you will see that there are two lists on the right hand side. Online, that is on top itself, there is a search list, but if you don't want to do that, then you have two lists, Group 1 and Group 2. Group 1 journals are those journals which have come through the UGC CARE protocols. UGC CARE protocols there are many protocols which they adhere to, and then only, and generally Indian journals are there under the UGC CARE list Group 1 journals. UGC CARE list Group 2 journals are journals which either they come under Web of Science or they come under Scopus. Very recently, the MLA journals have also been added. Now, let me take you through Group 1 journals. This is Group 1. I'm going to go and search Group 1 journals. So here we search, you will find there are about 1,000 and odd journals here. And in sciences, in social sciences, in arts and humanities, multidisciplinary, and in Indian languages, you will find that in Indian languages, there is quite a number of journals here. So let's, for example, go ahead with social sciences. Under social sciences, whatever journal you want, whatever journal you choose, you can, you will see that there are two columns here, the ISSN and EISSN. EISSN means a print version of the journal is available. One thing I would like to tell you at this stage is a print version today is much better, because when we create a Google Scholar ID, the Google Scholar portal seems to pull journals that are as such there. If online you have published in an online journal, and if it is an open access journal, then Google Scholar is able to pull your journal and it will give you the necessary credit. So online publication, if it is there, if there is an online version, such journals are better today. So with that note, let us take up one journal. Let's take up the Ames Journal of Management. And what happens once you click on the view, you will find what is the language, who is the publisher is, and what is the discipline, what are the areas in which you can submit your papers. And supposing you are interested with this detail, if you're interested, then you can click on the respective journal. It will lead you to the home page of the journal. The home page of the journal will give you all details, and it will give you the guidelines to authors, how a journal should be written, what are the things that are required, and everything else. All details will be given to you like this. Everything will be given to you, how it has to be done, how the paper has to be received, sent. Details will be given like this. Supposing we feel that we need to go with some other journal, then we always have a choice of doing so. We can go look at something else. So let's move on to the group B journals. The group 2 journals. So group 1, we have spoken. Now group 2 journals, if you see, Web of Science, Scopus, and Modern Language Association's journals are presented here. I think all of us will carry a notion that not many arts, humanities, and social sciences journals are there in Scopus and Web of Science. They generally cater to the science stream only. That has to a very great extent been rectified, but yes, I will agree that both Web of Science and Scopus majorly cater to Web of Science and to science related journals only. Clarivate Analytics and that is run by Thomson Reuters and Elsevier are the two people who run this Web of Science and Scopus also. They are also private players only. But their journals, because they have been there in publication since the 1800s, they have gained so much of popularity and importance in the publishing world. So their journals under the Web of Science journals and the Scopus journals today carry a lot of importance. I'm now going to help you look into the Scopus source list, how to look at and select a journal from the Scopus source list. Supposing I want to publish in a Scopus journal, what is it that I must do? When you click on that, this is the page to which it will take you to the sources page. So there are 43,132 journals. Now I would like to, I want you to look at the display options that are there. You will find there are quartiles written here. Is it not? Can you see? Is that visible?
Yes, ma'am, it is visible.
Yeah, the first quartile, second quartile, third quartile, and the fourth quartile. What does this actually mean? Well, the first quartile is the topmost journals. The topmost journals where publication is very difficult and the cost of publication is also very, very high. So slowly the second quartile, third quartile, and fourth quartile is the lowest journals where, and what else is associated with the first quartile? The impact factors of the first quartile journals are very, very high. Can you see the impact factor for the first journal that is there? CAA, a Cancer Journal for Clinicians. It's about 463.2. And look at the Nature Review, it is 115.7. I would now like you to look at the fourth quartile journals. Let me click fourth quartile and you say you apply. Even there we have 5,297 journals in the fourth quartile, but you see the site score has come down drastically. 3.9, 3.0, 2.8. So what is it that I am trying to communicate? For a starter, for a person who is just beginning to publish, I would request you to go and search for a journal that belongs to the fourth quartile. It's very important that we look at a journal that is there in the fourth quartile. So that as a way to start. Now, once, okay, I have zeroed in on one of the publications, then what is it that we must do? Then you will have to click on the respective journal, and you see here, this journal, the current protocols in stem cell biology, has been there from 2007 to 2020 only. This is one disadvantage that I would like to point out as far as Scopus is concerned. Just because a journal is removed from Scopus, Scopus does not remove this journal out of their list. It was there till 2020, so it continues to remain there. It continues to show there. And in our experience in the college, we have seen that there are many faculty members who publish it in the year 2021 and then come and ask us, oh, is this paper valid? No, that paper is not valid at all, because the journal is there only till 2020 only. It is there in Scopus, we tell them. So I would like to tell you all, please be careful about this. What is the coverage years? When you look at it, you look at the coverage years. See here, it is there only till 2020. It is not there. It doesn't say present to present, which means it is not there till now. The last 2 years, they have not renewed it. They have not followed protocol. So this journal is not there after 2020. Okay. So like this, we will have to choose the journal that we want, the area and the journal that we want. Look at this from 1991, it is there till now, to present it is written. So this journal is there till now, and it is an open access journal. Publishing in open access journals is always better to start off instead of publishing in paid journals, because better visibility will be there. More people will look at our articles. So this is how, and in Scopus, the Scopus also helps us to choose whether we want conference proceedings, book series. Supposing the college is organizing a conference proceeding, then we can look into all this. Which are the journals that is coming up with conference proceedings? We will be able to look at it. We can apply filters and we can find out. We will be able to find out. So that is the Scopus list for you. And coming to the Web of Science, we don't have this sort of issue in the sense that Web of Science, if the journal is there in the list, then it is active. It is active, and you can publish here in this journal. One note of caution that I would like to tell all members here is that if you have seen that there is a journal at the time of publication, please ensure that you take a printout of the journal, that it was very much there, it was present with the timeline, with the date on which you accessed. You please take a printout and keep it, because later for claiming for PhD or for anything else, this will be very, very useful. Because sometimes the journals get removed from Web of Science and from Scopus, they are removed, and many faculty members are put to a lot of difficulty. So ensure that this is a printout of this. So this journal, supposing I want to publish in this 20 ET journal, then let me take a printout of this immediately, and so that I know that it was there on this date. Here also, likewise, we can view the profile page of the respective journal. It's going to ask me to load. So I'm not going to load it here, but this is the way through which you can go through the Web of Science journal also. This will give you the citation and other things as well. Web of Science also has a very good, see on the left, there is a, if you have a manuscript, you can submit your manuscript and the manuscript matcher will give you the journal itself. What are the possible journals in which you can publish? They will tell you. Of course, I would like to warn you. I know faculty members will come pouncing saying, ma'am, publishing in Web of Science or Scopus is very, very costly. Yes, it is. I do agree. So this is the UGC care list, and we must be able to swim through this and find the right journal that we want. I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to go back to any doubts till this question. You want me to go back and resolve anything? Till this is the UGC care list part of it understood. Can I move on to the next one?
Yes, ma'am. We can have our Q&A session at the end, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm moving ahead with the third point that we must know. We must know impact factors, about impact factors. What is an impact factor? Who calculates this? How is it calculated? And where should I look for it? Are the questions that we must have. Well, to that question, impact factor is simply how frequently is your article cited. That is supposed to be the impact factor of a journal. The measure of the frequency with which an average article in a journal has been cited. Say, supposing we say impact factor of 4 point, then it means on an average, every article in that journal was cited at least 4 times a year. That is what it means. So a higher an impact factor, that is why we saw that cancer journal, they had an impact factor of 900 and odd, which means that many times people have gone into on an average and looked into that journal. So impact factors are very, very important. And how is this calculated? Impact factor is based on a 2-year period. It is decided by the number of articles and the number of citations that have been received towards those articles. Okay, that is the impact factor. Who gives this? Who gives these impact factors? Many of them are giving impact factors, but the reliable among them are the journal citation reports given by the Web of Science, known as JCR, the SCImago journal ranking given by Scopus, and the SNP, source normalized impact per paper given by Scopus, are the 3 things through which impact factors should actually be taken into consideration. This is what should be taken into consideration. There are others, and in these, if you look at the Web of Science, this is how it appears. It will tell you this is the impact factor. For each journal, it will give you. I have given you an example here. I have shown an example here. You can look at, you can create an account and you can access all this information. You can know the impact factor of the journal in which you are trying to publish. And now what are these? These people also give impact factors, but we request you to steer clear of all this. All these are there, but are they recognized? If you ask, no, they are not recognized. Many bodies have come up. What is it? I just have to find out how many citations have been done. On an average, how many papers have been published? How many have been cited? I have to find out. Why should I not do it? So many fellows come forward and they seem to be giving impact factors to journals. So please be aware of what are the ones that are recognized and the ones that are not recognized. Now, moving on to the next one. Citation and research ID. These two are closely linked. Whenever we publish, whenever we make a publication, we will have to increase the number of citations that we receive for a paper. What is a citation basically? It is acknowledging the person's work in that respective area. We are telling them this person did this work in this area and so on. Okay. So the number of more the citations we increase as it goes up, it means that we are able to, that article has contributed something towards somebody else's body of work, and we have been a small part with the work that they are doing. So such kind of work we must be able to identify and we must be able to do. Now, why should a research ID be created? to this question, we will have to trumpet our own costs. If I don't say what papers I have published, there is no need for the internet to pull up from all sources and tell me Gayatri has published so many articles. No, not necessary at all. So we must be able to create a proper profile, and we must be able to share all the information relating to how we have published. For that, it is very important, like how every institution has an ID, every researcher also must have an ID to tell us the body of work that this individual has done over time. And these are the ones that help us to create that ID, the ResearchGate ID, the IRINS ID, the PubLaunch, and the Google Scholar. Specifically, I would ask you to go ahead and create, as an institution, IRINS ID can be created, and individuals Google Scholar ID can be created. You can have a separate workshop for creation of Google Scholar ID and ResearchGate IDs. We can help with that part. And I would like to stop this presentation and take you through the research IRINS page that we have created in the institution. Yes. Are you able to see this IRINS page?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It's a Google page, ma'am.
Yeah. We have, the college has been able to create an IRINS page like this. The InflipNet will help you create this. It is a free initiative. All you have to do is give all the faculty publication. And I think you have already done it. Have you created Vidwan IDs in your college? Not yet? Vidwan IDs can be created through the IRINS portal, and IRIN instances like this will be created for every college. If you can bring your college into this, it's such a nice feature. See here, departments are there, how many professors are totally there, 307 faculty are there, how many publications, the patents that are there, the citations that we have received, everything comes up in the very first page itself. See, I would like to, the top 10 profiles, let's see. I'm going to help you view the profile of Dr. S.K. Jasmine Shahina. You see here, her publications, how it has been over how many years, how many publications. In the year 2012, 2 publications. In 2014, 5 publications. In 2018, she's published 10 publications she's published. And it gives you the number of citations that she has. And it also goes on to give you the collaboration. See how beautiful this picture is. She has collaborated with so many authors to publish her research papers. So something like this, and you see Scopus ID, Researcher ID, Google Scholar ID, she's created everything and she has posted it here. One shot where your academic identity will be known to people. So we must be able to create all this. This is what it is about. Her entire thing is there here. One shot, you can give just the number in the Vidwan page and the entire thing will come down to you. Okay, one example I have given like this. We can create IRIN instances for the entire institution. The entire institution we can create. I would like to go back to the, yeah. So this is the last slide that I have. These are some of the journal selection tools that are there, like how we saw in Web of Science. The Web of Science helps us to choose journals. Likewise, here also are some of the journal selection tools. These websites also help us to find the right journal for the content that we have in mind. And I would always like to tell you, it's always better to select the journal and then start writing, because each journal has its own way through which they want the publication or the contents that they want. Each journal has an objective in mind and they would like to publish in that fashion. And would like to end my talk by saying that, yes, it's a time where we have to understand that we publish or we perish. We have to publish. We have to publish. Let us do it in the right manner. There is a scientific way of doing it. Let us do it scientifically. Let us create good collaborations. Collaborations need not be within the college. Collaborations can be with researchers outside the college as well. And if you publish in multidisciplinary journals, you find that the citations that you receive keeps increasing. So happy publishing to all of you. And thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much. If the participants have any query, you can just type it on the chat box, or you can just unmute yourself and talk. Participants, do you have any queries?
Yes, this is a good question that has come up from Dr. Jani. There are, should I look at impact factor, or should it, reputed journals, they do not have impact factor? No, reputed journals will normally have impact factor. We can't say that. Generally, they have impact factors. Journals that have recently come up, very recently come up, they will only not have impact factor, for the sheer reason that the number of citations they would not have received. There are protocols even there to create an impact factor. Also, there are protocols. Well, I would request you to go in for, if you're going for a Scopus index journal, go in for something that has an impact factor. That is not start. Of course, publishing in a Scopus journal itself is a very, very difficult concept. We offer incentives in the college. We always tell our management, it's very difficult to publish in a Scopus index paper. So let's award them incentives so that they'll be encouraged to publish. Some do not have impact factor. I do agree. But that doesn't make a big difference. I would like to tell you, go ahead with publishing impact factor or no impact factor is very fine. But please do not publish in spurious papers that have high impact factor. That alone is very important.
Ma'am, this is a question about the impact factor and citation index. For an author, citation index means a lot, because impact factor is actually associated with journal.
Yes. We need citations.
But,
yes,
how do you feel, ma'am? The citation index is.
Yeah, we need to improve our citations. That is why I told you, we will have to collaborate with other institutions, and we will have to find journals that are multidisciplinary, so that more people will walk into these journals, and open access journals. See, there are two kinds of journals. The highly paid Scopus journals and all are not open access at all. We cannot access them at all. So a normal researcher like you and me, when we go there, we find that's a paid journal. Who is going to purchase it? At least, in countries like ours, it's very difficult. The option of purchasing is very difficult. And neither is, is it possible for the institution to subscribe? If you ask, even that is very costly. Scopus and all charges. Scopus charges about 5 lakhs for a basic version, and there are other subscription-based models that are even more. In number, EBSCO and all charges about 8-9 lakhs. It's not possible. So open access, collaborative, multidisciplinary journals is the best thing to look out for.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there any other query from the participants? If there is no query, requesting Deepika to formally propose the vote of thanks.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. It is an honor to propose the vote of thanks for today's session. I would like to thank the Almighty for making today's session a success. I extend my gratitude to our speaker, Dr. Gayatri, for taking the time to be a part of the FDP series on journal writing and for sharing her knowledge and insights. I thank all the participants who have taken the time out to attend today's session. A big thank you to our secretary and our associate secretary for their constant guidance and support. My special thanks to our principal and vice principal for giving us the encouragement we always need. Last but not the least, I would like to thank the internal training team, Dr. S.T. Deepa, our technical team, and our internal training team for all their support and coordination. Once again, I thank you all.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It is indeed an useful session, ma'am. Thank you so much. For the participant, the feedback link is posted in the chat box. You can just fill in your feedback. You will receive your e-certificate within a week. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.